Good morning. Today we are continuing to learn a little bit more about David, and we're talking about finding confidence. We're going to start by having a think about our own confidence. Do you think of yourself as a confident person? I wonder if you can think of something that changes how confident you feel. Take some time with those around you to think about things which might change how confident you feel. They might make you feel more confident, or they might make you feel less confident.
Maybe your confidence depends on what you're wearing. You might feel more confident depending on who you're with. Or it could be about where you are.
Pause the video and have a chat with those around you.
Hi everyone, Debbie here. Now, I've got two books here and I'm wondering which book you prefer the look of. This one's all about numbers and maths, and this one is, well, it's got the title there. It's called The World's Worst Children. Now, I think you would probably pick this one. So let me read you some of it. Much of the data visualization that bombards us today is decoration at best, and distraction or even disinformation at worst. Not what you were expecting? Let's try the other one, shall we? Let me read you some of this one. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who was known as Windy Mindy. Not what you were expecting again? Well, actually, I've been playing a trick on you, because if I take this cover of this book, you will see that actually this is The World's Worst Children, and the other book had The World's Worst Children cover on it. Now, I've got a question for you. What do you think confidence looks like? Sometimes people can look really confident, but on the inside, they feel nervous or worried. It's not always easy to tell what someone's like or how they are feeling just from what they look like. And that's why we have the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover. And we saw that, didn't we, with my trick on you earlier. In today's story, we're going to hear a bit more about where we might find confidence and why it's important not to judge people by what you see.
Now, today we are going to be thinking about when David was chosen to be king of Israel. Now, first of all, there was a guy called Samuel who went to Jesse in Bethlehem. And Samuel had been told by God that one of Jesse's sons was going to be anointed. Now, being anointed showed that you had been chosen by God. Now, Samuel saw one of Jesse's sons who was big and strong, and he thought that he must be the future king. But God said no. Now, God told Samuel that he didn't look at the way people looked, but instead he looked at the inside of a person, because that's what was important to God. Now, Jesse then showed Samuel all of his sons, but Samuel knew that none of them were who God was intended to be king. So Samuel asked Jesse, have you got any other sons? And that's when Jesse told Samuel all about David. Now, David was Jesse's youngest son. Now, all of David's other brothers were big, strong and handsome, and they looked like they could be a king. But God saw what David looked like on the inside. And he was the one that God had created for this purpose. Now David was then sent for and he came home. And as soon as Samuel saw David, he immediately knew that he was the one. So David was the one that was chosen. And God was then with David from that day onwards. Now David was just a humble little shepherd boy. But he had confidence because he knew that God was with him. And he was also confident because he knew that he had been created for a purpose. Just like you have been created for a purpose too. Now, whether or not you know what your purpose is yet, you are created for a purpose. So we can have confidence in who we are because we were created by God to be exactly who we are. So even if you are feeling nervous, worried or afraid, you can know that God is with you and that can give you confidence. Now let's head over to Sam as she helps us learn a Bible verse about this truth.
So we have been talking about finding confidence and the things that we might need to feel confident in ourselves. And we have a memory verse for you today to help you to remember that. You might want to write it down and put it somewhere where you might see it every day, or you may want to spend some time decorating it or colouring in a picture containing this verse. The verse is from 1 Samuel 16 verse 7. But the Lord said to Samuel, "Do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him." The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Now, that is quite a long thing to remember. So you might want to just cut it down and remember the very last part of that. The Lord looks at the heart. What a great verse to remember.
Today we heard about how God sees what we're really like, what we're like on the inside. God knows us completely. He knows everything about us. If we were a book, God wouldn't just see the cover, he'd see everything on the inside too. And we're going to use our hands to help us pray today. Sometimes we see two hands together like this. We think that that's praying hands. And we're going to start our prayer together with our hands together like this. But then we're going to open our hands because we know that God sees us on the inside. So why don't you put your hands together with me and let's pray. Dear God, thank you that you see us for who we are on the inside. Please help us to see others in the same way. Help us not to judge others by the way they look, the way they speak, or where they live. Amen.
Thanks, Debbie, for praying with us today. Now we can grow in confidence by listening to what God has got to say and following him. So we are going to practice now our listening by playing a game of Simon Says. It's really easy to play along. All you have to do is follow the directions and instructions that Simon gives. But remember to not do the action if Simon doesn't tell you. So let's play. Simon says, put your hands on your head. Simon says, touch your elbows. And Simon says, stick your tongue up. Simon says, touch your ears. And jump up 5 times. Ha ha! Who did I trick? Who jumped? Simon didn't say. Let's try again. Simon says, stretch up tall. Simon says, touch your knees and sit down. Ah, Simon didn't say again. Right, let's try again. Simon says, do some star jumps. Simon says, dance around. And Simon says, be a singer. And Simon says, touch your nose and stop. Whew. Simon didn't say that, but I think it was time for us to stop, don't you? Now, have a fantastic week and we will see you next time. Bye!